What? Hey, I see that over there. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. What's up, guys? Chaz Giovanni here with another video. Today on Hey, Hope This Helps, we're going to be talking about checking in on your homies. Checking in on your homies, checking in on your bros, making sure that they're okay, making sure that they're good. What's your mental state like? How have you been? Like, what's the latest thing going on in your life? Just checking in. Because I feel as though we as men, we don't check in as often as we should. And it seems like a really easy and simple thing to do, but we often go so many times in our lives as men or as boys, as just the male gender and male species. We tend to go a lot without checking on each other. I've seen my wife, check on her friends check on her, quite often. They contact each other, at least once, twice, 3 times out of the week, and just make sure that, they're doing good, giving the latest updates on their life, and, just let them know what's going on, checking in. So I feel like it's important for us as men to do it, because we oftentimes we like to bury things within ourselves and not talk about things. And I feel like it's super important to just, talk about what's going on in your life, what's going on in your day. Just, you got a promotion at your job, you got this new car that you want to talk about, whatever it is that you really want to talk about. But yeah, sometimes there's there's times in our lives that we kind of feel alone as men, and we just need someone to talk to. And if you have homeboys or homies, friends, best friends, whatever you want to call them, it's best that you keep in contact with them. Because as I was growing up, I've always been told to keep in contact with your relatives. Keep in contact with your family. Check on your grandmother. Check on your grandfather. Just check on people. It's important to just check in and see how people are doing, to kind of let them know that they're not alone in this world and that they have somebody that they can talk to. It's super important. It's super duper important, because just having that safe space to or somebody to reach out to you and check on you and give you that safe space and say, hey, I see that you're going through X, Y, and Z on social media. What's going on? Like, hey, how's it, what's up? Talk to me. And I feel like if we do that more as men, we'd have less men suffering in silence. And suffering in silence is something that's it's like it's almost taught to us as men. Because, we always have this kind of toxic masculinity thing where, it's always taught to us that we need to man up, that we need to, boys don't cry and stuff like that. That's toxic, because we're human. Humans express emotion, women express emotion, men express emotion. We all have emotions, and we should be able to express them in a healthy way and not in a crazy way. It's not saying like you need to go out and just, cause havoc and wreak havoc and cause destruction everywhere. No. What I'm saying is, you just have a healthy outlet. Find something that allows you to feel peace in this world, because there's a lot of things going on in this world that can drive you insane. And if you don't have an outlet or somebody to talk to and to feel like you can just express whatever it is that you need to let go, it can consume you. And once you get to that point of that breaking point where it's either you want to exit stage left, like you just want to be out of this world, or you just go on a rampage where you just start, hurting other people, that's never the path that you want to go. There's so many different ways to seek help, like therapy. You can meditate, you can talk to God. That's the biggest one that you can do. You can go be by yourself, go by a lake or something like that, where you can just breathe and relax, and then maybe find someone like one of your friends that you could talk to and just have a candid conversation. Just tell them like, hey, I'm not okay. I'm not feeling okay. That's okay to say. It's not going to make you weak. It's not going to make you less of a man to tell people, to tell like your homies how you're feeling. And if you don't have guy friends that you can talk to, then you might need to change your friend circle. But that's another topic that we can get into. I'll kind of touch on a little bit. The people that you keep around you, you know, it can determine where you go in life. You know, if you look around you and you see just a bunch of, you know, people doing crazy things and no one's really having goals or aspirations in life, and they're just stuck doing the same old thing, what do you think is going to happen to you? You can become a product of your environment if you allow yourself to. So sometimes it's harder to, you know, find other guy friends out there like that, because, you know, sometimes it can be hard just meeting people in general. Even though we're getting out of the pandemic, I know for 2 years or so that's, you know, affected, you know, meeting people and going out and interacting socially. But, you know, you can meet people on, you know, I've met some pretty cool people like playing video games online when I was younger. I don't really game as much often or play online as much as I used to, but I met some people, some cool people there. I met people at the skate park. That's primarily where I met a lot of people that I know today. Just skating, you know, going to different skate parks and just the skate culture, because, you know, as skateboarders, we're like the misfits. We don't really fit in. We're the alternative, especially if you're black. You know, if you're a black skateboarder, now it's more socially accepted, but, you know, in the past, it wasn't. When I was growing up, I was always called Tony Hawk or, you know, Kick Push or Lupe Fiasco. But, you know, I was different. You know, I never really saw myself as fitting in. So I always kind of like, when I was growing up, I struggled with it. It wasn't easy for me being different. But as I got older, I understood how cool it is to not be a part of the cool crowd or not be the cool kid or whatever, but to be different, to be unique, weird, whatever you want to call it. But I met a lot of those people because, you know, we shared that similar thing of being a skateboarder, being an outcast, being someone who was different. And I met all different, you know, races, ethnicities who skateboard. And, you know, it was cool because I got to meet somebody from, I know I met a couple of people from Europe through skateboarding, people around the world, because skateboarding is it's like a universal language, and it allows us to express ourselves in ways that we probably wouldn't have been able to verbally. It's an art form. So that was how I was able to meet different people who shared similar interests. So just find people with common interests who, you know, can relate to you on a different level than you can relate to most people, because that's what makes it more special. That's what makes it more meaningful, and it creates that memory in your brain of, I met you doing, you know, I met you were the guy who did the crooked grind on the handrail or whatever, or the Smith grind down that stair set or whatever, you know, any kind of skateboard terminology. But you know, it creates those memories in your head, and it's like, yeah, you know, I met this person, and, you know, it was at a certain time in my life, and, you know, we still keep in contact to this day, or we don't. And, you know, even, you know, it's up to your discretion to kind of determine whether or not you want to go back and talk to that person from your past. And I'm not saying just go to talk to anybody from your past. No, exes, don't do it. But I'm talking about, like, you know, some of your homies that you skated with back in the day, and you kind of just fell out of, you know, communication. It happens. We're adults. We have lives. Everybody's lives goes in different paths. So, you know, if you reach back out to them and y'all kind of like reconvene, you never know, like, what kind of, you know, what kind of therapeutic experience you might have, just, you know, rekindling that conversation or that friendship that you guys once had. That may be the friend that you can, like, reach out to and talk to about anything. So that's the most important thing, is to at least have like a safe space where you have male friends, preferably male friends. You can have female friends that you could talk to, but it's, it's better if you talk to someone who shares the same perspective as you. Not saying that women can't talk on things of, that men deal with and vice versa, but it's easier to talk to someone. Like if I'm having issues with, like when I was younger, I didn't know how to talk to girls. When I was at a certain point in my life, I didn't really know how to talk to girls. And, I would get advice from other guys or other men. Now, not all this advice was good advice. So again, it all determines on where this, what the source is of this advice that you're getting comes from. If you're able to get it from a sane, a stable, a morally correct person who has valuable information to offer to you, then it's beneficial. But if you, as long as you make sure that you find somebody that you can talk to who has sound advice, you'll be able to overcome certain hurdles that you may have in life. And it's easier said than done. Again, I know it can be, for me, I was also I considered myself an introvert for a while. I don't really consider myself that now, but I did grow up an only child, so I don't have any siblings. But I do have, of course, I've had friends growing up and, different people I could talk to, but I'd say the social interaction part of it kind of came later on in life for me, because I didn't, I was growing up with, friends in the neighborhood or whatever, but I didn't have I didn't have any siblings. So I feel like if I would have had siblings, that introverted stage that I went through in life probably wouldn't have happened, because I would have been accustomed to talking to people my age and relating to people my age, and not necessarily relating to people who's older. It kind of benefits, it is kind of a benefit being able to relate to people of all ages, because that makes you well-rounded, being able to talk to people, which is also another great component in, finding someone that you could, open up and talk to. Because if you're well-rounded, then you won't have certain bias that may prevent you from talking to someone just because of how they look, how they speak, how they walk, how they talk, so on and so forth. It allows you to be so more open, and being able to receive whatever they have, whatever type of advice and, wisdom and knowledge they have to offer, can really help you out in your growth as if you're a younger boy watching this, if you're a teenager, if you're a young adult, if you're even if you're older. What I'm saying in this episode, I feel like it can help boys, men of all ages, honestly, because we oftentimes just neglect opening up, or talking to people, and just talking through our problems and working through it rationally. We tend to bottle it up and just say, F it, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't want to deal with it. I had a period in my life where I was just dismissive of a lot of things, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts. I just didn't want to talk about it. And that comes from, being told to man up, don't show emotion, don't show X, Y, and Z or whatever. And it affects your development as a man, because what you lack in your childhood, when you grow older into your adulthood, it comes out in the craziest of ways. It can come out in friendships, it can come out in relationships, it can come out in marriages, so on and so forth. Any type of relationship that you have, if your ability to communicate effectively is not there, it's a hard road, it's a tough road. And then being able to heal from those traumas that you may have had that have caused you to not want to speak and not want to talk, or not want to be vocal, or not want to deal with things, or just work through things. Once you heal from those things, it allows you to experience a different type of bliss, And that's like kind of like the best way that I can describe it, because you can feel things slowly start to work in your favor. Not everything's going to work in your favor. That's just life. But you'll have a better perspective and outlook on life where you can see things and feel as though, okay, this didn't work out how I expected, but how can I switch gears? How can I find a way for this to work? How can I make, how can I look at this in a positive way? There's so many different ways that you can, make a bad situation better. And that's what it's all about, perspective. Making sure that you have like the emotional stamina and endurance to power through whatever situation you may be going through in life, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And God won't put anything on you that you couldn't handle. So just look at whatever you go through in life as a learning lesson. There's always something to learn, even in the wins and the failures. So don't look at it as if you messed up, don't look at it as you failed or you're just horrible, you just should give up. No, look at it as if, okay, what can I learn from this situation? What can I do better next time? Because once you take that approach, things will start to, again, it's that bliss. Things will start to work out better for you, and then you'll be able to think optimistically and be able to figure out, okay, all right, so I'm in this situation. What can I do to get myself out of it? Or what can I do to help alleviate this situation that I got myself into? Or this didn't work out how I planned for it to, but on the bright side, this worked out. Or I learned this, or I learned that. That's the best way to go about any negative situation that you may be facing in life. And, it just helps you to focus on the bigger picture in life. Because I'll give you an example of, when I had this realization, when I was going through a serious depression in life. It was a bad time in my life, and it felt like nothing was going well, and it was just really hard. So I started Get Out and Explore for the sole purpose of wanting to see things that were bigger than me, wanting to see the world, because in the grand scheme of it all, we're all very small in this great big world that we live on.
Seeing things like this makes you feel super tiny. Makes me feel so small, and also makes me realize my problems aren't that bad, or aren't that big, or my problems aren't that big. Yeah. Lesson of the day. You might be going through something, but your problems aren't as big as this waterfall. I promise you that. I know that's like super corny, but hey, I mean, if you can get something out of it, then great.
There's a lot of us in this world, but everything on this planet, there's so many things that we have yet to see on this planet, which is crazy to think of when we've been here for so long. But I started the series of Get Out and Explore to really push myself to get out and explore. It's pretty straightforward. I push myself to go and see things around the world, or see things that I don't normally see on a day-to-day basis, like waterfalls, mountaintops, so on and so forth, hiking trails, bamboo forest in Atlanta. That's a good one. If you're in the Atlanta area, check it out. But there's so many different things that you can see in the world that make you feel smaller than, it's not necessarily to make you make you feel smaller in a negative sense, but when you're standing next to a gigantic waterfall like Toccoa Falls in Toccoa, Georgia, if you've ever been and you got to witness it in person, you see how tall it is and how small you actually feel. And if you think about your problems or whatever you're going through, and you realize that your problems are small in the grand scheme of things, it's just you have to find a way, a solution in order to fix whatever predicament you may be in. And things happen for a reason, and it could either be a win for you or a lesson. So again, don't look at it as a win or a failure, or a win or a loss. When people say, "Hold this L," no, it's more so focus on, if you didn't do your best in that situation, find out how you can do better. Simple as that. It's easier said than done, I will say that. But again, if you go back to the analogy that I just used, talking about how big the waterfall is compared to how big you are, or look at you, don't look at it as how big you are. Look at it as how big the waterfall is, how big your problems are. Let that sink in. How big the waterfall is, how big your problems are. And then it'll start to help you realize, because you're already looking at a beautiful work of God. He made the waterfalls, the heavens and the earth, everything on this planet. If you look at it that way, you'll start to understand that maybe it's not so bad, Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. And me hiking, me changing certain things and removing certain things out of my life, whether it be toxic people, toxic situations, toxic environments, adding God, scripture, church, gospel music, changing my music. And I even talked about that, music and mind manipulation, in a previous episode. But, changing certain things that I do in my daily routine helped me to get in a better headspace. And, having people that I can talk to, whether it be the men of valor at TKHC, which is Thy Kingdom Has Come International Ministries. That's the church that I attend. Either the men at the church, or whether it be, relatives that I have, friends that I have that check in on me. Even though I don't like talking on the phone, I really do not like talking on the phone, but I will talk on the phone if it's good conversation, or if it's something important, or if it's like a family member, I'll go ahead and do it. Because it's important. It's important to have those conversations on the phone if you can't have them in person. And the reason why I don't like talking on the phone is because I like talking in person. I like having that face-to-face interaction. That's what I value more than anything. Just having that personal time with someone or with a group of people, and just having fun and being able to talk and just share ideas and just bounce ideas off of each other and say, "Oh, this works," or "This is cool," or "This is not," or "Check this out," stuff like that. Because that's how we find out about a lot of things in life is, one person feels strongly about something, they share it with others. And, you have people who agree and people who disagree. And that's okay. That's life. You're not going to have people who agree with you wholeheartedly on everything. And if life was like that, it would be extremely boring. But, life is interesting that way. We all have views and perspectives. We all have a voice. We all have opinions. I'm not saying someone's opinion is greater than others, but some people's opinions they shouldn't matter to you, especially if they're negative. But also be able to take constructive criticism. That's important. Understand that not everything you say and do is going to be right. You're going to have some janky ideas and janky thoughts. It's okay. We're human. But as long as you don't act on those janky thoughts and ideas, you'll be all right. So I think that pretty much covers everything for this episode. Let me see if I touched on everything. Okay. One thing I do want to talk about before I go is when you see somebody posting on social media. When you see somebody posting on social media and they're posting something sad or depressing, or you just kind of can pick up, or you can discern what it is that they may be going through based off of their interactions on social media or whatever they're posting, reach out to that person, check in on them, see if they're okay, because that might be a cry for help. To be honest with you, that could be a serious cry for help if someone is dealing with something personal and they're posting sad posts on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, or they're listening to sad music, because a lot of music nowadays has a lot of sad undertones in it. And it's it's taking people out, unfortunately. And people are, running to these things like social media and music because they feel like that's their outlet and they feel like they have no one to talk to. But, you got to find somebody who you can talk to and somebody that makes you feel happy in life. And, it's easier said than done. I don't know what your circumstances are, but try your best to find someone that you can confide in and someone who has your best interests at heart, not someone who's you talk to them and they're going to spread your information to the family or spread your information to, your friends or whomever, social media. Find somebody that you can confide in that is not going to go and, just spread your information around. And if you can't, talk to God. Talk to God. I say do both if you can. Talk to God first, then talk to someone else that can help you through it. Because there's no reason for us to suffer in silence. As many people as there are on this planet, what you've been through, somebody may have been through something similar or way worse who can help you through whatever it is that you're going through. So don't suffer in silence. Reach out to someone, find somebody that you can talk to, and just get it off your chest. Don't hold it in. It's not worth it. It kills you. All right. So I know that might have ended on a semi-dark note, but all in all, I just want you guys to know that I love you and that someone out there does love you as well. And that you are worthy. You are, capable of doing whatever it is that you put your mind to. Just stay focused, have faith in God first, then have faith in yourself. Then, know that you can't manifest things, but God can. So just focus on that and you will be okay. And that is my time for today. Love you guys. Stay blessed. Remember to live a life of abundance. Until next time, Chaz Giovanni signing out. Peace.